my hair is just getting too all over blonde. And I wasn't having as much dimension. And so the last time we utilized more of my natural and put in some low lights, but also keeping it bright.
Yeah.
So it's really just kind of, for me now, like I'm liking how it's growing out. I just want to maintain some dimension, brightness, but also depth, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Do you want to add low lights today, or you want to just break up what's going on?
I would just say use your discretion. When you look at my hair, if you feel like, hey, you could use a low light here, then throw it in. If you feel like it doesn't need it, then don't do it.
Okay. How did you feel with the last low light?
Great.
That's good.
Yeah, because that one was more breaking it up.
Right.
This time it's more maintenance.
Yeah. I think since it's more maintenance, I'll just work on using your natural. But yeah, if I see an area that needs it, I'll put it in. But the last time she left a lot of the depth back here, do you want me to touch that area?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
The thing is I don't wear my hair half up, half down.
Right.
If anything, I'll throw it in a ponytail, but that's not all the time. So it's like, I don't mind having depth back there, but if you're going to like err on anything, I would just say hairline area.
Okay. Do you like the way that the root blended last time? Do you want the same amount of dimension, or you want a little bit more blonde or less blonde?
I think the same.
The exact same?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is with that dimension that you're saying, it does peek through here sometimes.
Do you like that?
I don't love as much depth there.
Okay, because it is
so I don't mind having some shadows, because you need the shadows for the blonde to pop.
Right.
But it feels a little too much still.
Yeah, I see it. I'll just break it up just a little bit, because I do see where it could have felt a little too dark in that pocket.
And I do like I don't like heavy slicing.
Yeah.
I prefer more weaving and like that kind of a feel rather than slicing.
Do you want it to be more dimensional here and then gradually a little bit like lighter here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and especially because I have fringe, you can see what happens as it grows out. It's like you start to see more of the shadows, and it's like all of that just needs to be brightened up so that it doesn't feel so dark and then all this light.
Do you like how the fringe is right now?
No.
You want it a little bit lighter?
Yeah, just a little bit lighter.
Like just right in there, I see it.
Yeah.
I know it. Yeah, the underneath.
Yeah, just underneath and like bringing up the top kind of thing.
Okay.
But not making it like
solid
blonde or dark.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
Like a headband.
Yes.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I had the pleasure of doing Alexis's hair. If you guys don't know Alexis, she is the salon owner of the salon that I work at Butterfly Loft, and she wanted to bring up her blonde while maintaining some depth throughout her hair. And so we are going to break it up with some foils. Since, like we said, this is more of a maintenance appointment, I didn't want to go in with low lights because she already kind of had some beautiful depth that we could totally work with. And so I'm going to start off in the back here using the Danger Jones lightener, and I'm pretty much just using a 5 volume for most of her head. At the very end I'm added in a little bit of 20 volume, but for a majority of her hair lifted excellent with just 5 volume. She is a natural level 7 and her hair lifts fairly well. By the time that I was pretty much done with foiling her head, I did have to wipe like the hairline, so you know that this lightener is powerful but is very gentle on the hair because it is formulated with bonder in it, which is so great and very helpful with any type of blonding service that I do on all of my clients, because you don't have to add an additional bonder to it because it has it already built in, which is just so amazing, and it gives me peace of mind whenever I do any type of blonding service on any client. So I started off in the back. I always start off in the back because I want to make sure that we detail the hairline. Generally, clients who have longer hair do put their hair up in a ponytail, so I never want to miss the hairline in case the client puts their hair up in a ponytail or in a bun, whatever it may be, because I don't love to see any dark spots around the hairline. So I make sure that the whole perimeter of the hairline, from the back of the neck to above the ears to around their face frame, I want to make sure that whenever I do any type of color, there is some sort of connection. Even if I were to do like a partial, I would still do a hairline foil just to make sure that there is some blend and cohesiveness around the hairline, especially if a client puts their hair up. So going in with her placement, I did 2 diagonal backs, just like baby weaves around the hairline, leaving some negative space in between. Now I'm going in and pretty much taking a center mohawk section. If you are new, I love to take a center mohawk section because it saves me a ton of time. I don't see the purpose of splitting the back into 2 when eventually I can hit the sides all together and connect the back to the sides in just 3 major sections. It just saves me a lot of time. I used to split that back section into 2, and I figured by splitting it into 2, it used to take me at least an extra 10 minutes to foil the head. And we all know if you are doing a full head of foils, you just kind of want to get through it as quickly as possible and efficiently as possible. So I just find that that's what works for me. So as I'm going and doing the front now, she has that fringe like we said. So we're not really working with a money piece, we are really working with blending the fringe to the back. Sometimes the fringe can be a little bit tricky, so I like to take into consideration the thickness of the fringe, the hair texture, where it kind of lays, and then how they were feeling when they came in. She expressed that her bangs were feeling a little bit dark on the underneath, and she does trim her bangs herself because she does hair as well, and so she'll trim her bangs at home. And so as she does her maintenance trims at home, she does eventually cut off some of the blonde on the ends. So with that being said, she has pretty thick hair. Her fringe is on the thicker side. So I want to make sure that the underneath of this fringe does have a bit of color. I'm not going in with a heavy baby light, but I am doing a few baby lights back to back here. And then slowly, as I get closer towards the top of the thickness of the fringe, I'm going to be leaving my baby lights a little bit spaced out a bit more. And what that's going to do is that having those baby lights spaced a little bit closer together on the underneath is going to preserve that lightness underneath to where it kind of makes it look like the ends stay lighter. If I were to leave too much depth on those first few foils of her fringe, which is technically the bottom of her fringe, then as she trims her hair, she'll find that her fringe starts to get a little bit darker over time as she does her maintenance. So I always like to make sure that those parts, and based off of the way that she wears her fringe, does maintain that nice lightness to where the roots are rootier and the ends look lighter. And so I did that and kind of connected and slowly spaced out my weaves as I got closer to connect that top of the mohawk. Another thing that I do want to mention too is when I did my weaves in the back, I did more of a medium textured weave, and then towards the top of the head where she parts her hair, I start to space those foils a little bit closer together because I am doing a more baby light, smaller weave, because she expressed that she doesn't love to see too many slices or any type of blend like that. She prefers more of like a smaller weave or a more blended baby light look. So when I start to add in those smaller weaves, I have to take into consideration that I need to space those foils a little bit closer together because I'm technically picking up less hair. So now that I'm on this side, I did her side money piece, and I did 3 baby lights back, spaced out a little bit with a little bit more negative space because we don't want to make her feel too blonde, but yet still maintaining that dimension. So after that, now I'm on the side and I did a baby light above the ear. And now as I'm connecting her front side to that back mohawk that we originally started with, these weaves are going to now go back to the more of that medium size weave to kind of match. And because we are taking a slightly thicker weave on the sides here, I can leave a little bit more dimension in between these sections. so that these highlights really pop, and we're able to also break up those pockets where she has a little bit more dimension than she would have liked, just to kind of break it up. And I like to just do a little bit for this session, and then based off of how she wears her hair and feels it out for next time, I can go a little bit heavier, but I wanted to maintain as much dimension as possible. So by doing that, I like to utilize using more negative space in between the highlights, and then just doing a more thicker weave on the sides there. So Alexis's foils with just 5 volume honestly processed really fast, and her hair lifts like a dream. And once I was pretty much foiling her whole head, some of the back was ready to be rinsed. So right now I'm just going through, and I like to rinse at my foils as we go and as it processes in sections. Like if a section is not ready, I won't rinse it out. You could even see I did have to wipe her front fringe area because those hairs are a little bit on the finer side, so they lifted actually a little bit faster than this section that I'm pulling out right now. And the way that I wipe that too is you kind of have to be careful when you're wiping off lightener without rinsing it, because on clients who are naturally this light, if you don't wipe it properly, you can create warmth because the lightener starts to kind of bleed onto the virgin in between. So what I did is I got a wet towel, I wiped down the highlights with the wet side, dried it and wiped it again with the dry side. And then additionally, what I like to do, a little pro tip, is I like to blow dry the hair with cold air just to dry out any residual lightener that might be on her hair, to kind of just stop any lifting so that you don't have any bleeders or anything like that, especially when a client is naturally so light, because just a few minutes of lightener sitting on the hair bleeding through can definitely leave a spot there. So I just like to take a little bit extra precaution in that sense, and I'll do 2 wipes, one with wet, dry, and then blow dry it to make sure that the lightener is has completely stopped working. So now we're going to be using the Danger Jones gloss toners. By the way, guys, I don't think I said this in the video, but Alexis has also the product creator of like all the products I'm using in her hair, which is so cool that I get to do her hair and like just using the products that she has pretty much created for us to use. And it's just amazing because I absolutely love the Danger Jones gloss toners. They are my favorite out of any demi-permanent line that I've ever used or tried on anyone, because they are highly conditioning, very pigmented, and they also just smell great. And they're formulated with bonder as well too. So every time I do my clients' colors, whether it's a new client, returning client, whatever, they're always so surprised how amazing their hair feels. And it's because Alexis has made sure that they use literally the best ingredients for their products so that we can ensure that our clients' hair feel their best. And so for her, I rooted her. I did section out her hairline, and I do about like an inch. I section out her whole fringe and then the hairline around the front of her face, an inch from there, because I did a shadow root behind the hairline first. And when I did the shadow root, I did a very baby tap shadow root. And then now I'm going in with my mid-tone. My mid-tone is a mixture of clear with 10-03. And it's really just to kind of tone out some of that warmth in that mid area where you see as I'm brushing it out. I am brushing as I go throughout her hair, just to kind of ensure a little bit of more blend with the toners. And then after I use the mid-tone, I'm going to go in with the clear, which is their 0-0. And this is just going to tie everything together, make her hair feel amazing. And the clear, since it does have bonder, and it will give a bit of shine and gloss to her hair and make her hair feel so amazing. So once I've toned behind the hairline, I want to show you guys here that now I'm beginning to tone the front. So the front, I did a mixture for her root shadow. This is her root shadow for all over. I did 7-0 and 7-8. And the reason why I'm toning her hairline last is because these hairs are a little bit finer than the rest of the hair. So I find whenever I used to tone all at once, this part would always sometimes tone faster or darker. So now I just tone and leave out the hairline for the very last bit. And I'm going in with the shadow root, just tapping, and then now I'm going in with the clear on the ends of her hair. Once I apply the clear globally all over, I'm gonna be going in and just kind of tapping a little bit from the shadow root in the front using that mid-tone, but not going all over her front hair. I'm just doing it as a transition to where the hair is laying, and then after that I will be putting clear all over the front as well too.
Lauryn, you spoiled me.
Yay!
Wow. It looks and feels amazing. Color and cut and style.
Thank you.
Love it.
Thank you for trusting
Love it,
me.
love it. Are you kidding? Oh my gosh. The best.
Alrighty guys, so here is the final product. I absolutely love the way that her hair turned out and love the tone of it too. She lifted really pretty, so that's why we utilize a lot of her natural warmth for the ends, but I love adding a little bit more of a balanced tone on that mid and that root to kind of just tie everything together, so as it fades, it just blends really seamlessly with her natural root. And I would say if you're a client wanting this look, maintenance with this type of color, I would say waiting at minimum of 10 to 12 weeks before getting a touch up, just to kind of maintain some of that depth throughout the hair is really key. And yeah, that's about it. Alrighty guys, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in, and as always, I will talk to you guys next week.